My wife and I always wanted to create a perfect setup for gaming, and we finally built it. 2 TVs, 3 consoles, VR and 1 huge couch. It's cozy, functional and perfect for both of us to play video games. Let me show you how it works. First, we both prefer to play on TV. We sit behind our desks the whole day, so we really didn't want to spend evenings gaming sitting in front of the monitors too. There are some cases where playing at the monitor can be great, like competitive gaming for example, but we wanted our primary setup to be the TVs. So the obvious choice was to get 2 TVs and consoles. We were considering different placements for the TV in the living room. We thought about placing them in different corners and buying armchair for each. This setup would be very individual and it would be harder to do something together, or if we have some guests. So we decided to try TV placement right beside each other. The biggest worry was that the image on the other TV would be interfering with each player, but it turned out it doesn't. Sure, during loading screens or some slow action on my side, I can spot something fast-paced happening on the other TV, but it's quite rare, and even if it happens, I don't mind. Most of the time you are immersed in your own game, your eyes are focusing on the image and you aren't noticing the other TV at all. It also helps that those TVs are pretty large, both screens are 65 inches. With such setup, we could use one large couch, and if needed, just use one TV and play co-op or watch movies together, without rearranging anything. This couch also can fit more people for some nice group gaming. Let's dive into each setup in more detail. On the right, we have our primary TV. This is a LG C1 OLED, and it's still one of the best gaming TVs out there. Of course, it's a model from 2021, and now you can buy the better version C4 or even LG G4 with new MLA technology allowing higher brightness levels. However, I never felt it was limiting me in any way, and I don't feel like I need an upgrade at all. It has incredibly low input lag and a response time, so the games are super smooth. It supports 4K, 120Hz with HDR, variable refresh rate, and all the colors, highlights and blacks looks amazing in my opinion. It also has gaming mode with auto setting depending on the genre of the game you're playing. I absolutely love this TV and it's the best OLED I've used so far. One note, if you play one specific game that has the same UI, let's say FIFA games and their scoreboards, the LG C1 can burn in pixels, which was significantly improved in the newer models. We don't have this risk because we play a variety of games. LG is paired with PlayStation 5 in our setup, the original version for now. I haven't decided if I want to upgrade to Pro yet. I couldn't find many reasons to do it, to be honest. Of course, we have also 2 PS DualSense gamepads and a completely new edition PSVR2. I'm enjoying quite a bit so far, so if you want my full review in a few months on whether it's still worth it in 2025, make sure to subscribe to the channel. For now, it's a bit messy just laying around, so I'm thinking about buying the VR stand. Sony itself has only a charger for VR controllers, so I'm looking at third-party stands, so the whole setup would have a dedicated space. We have this nice Sony stand for regular controllers and it's much more convenient this way. In addition, we have a Nintendo Switch stand here connected to LG as well, but honestly I rarely use this Switch with a TV. The only game I've played was Legend of Zelda. I prefer to play big consoles when I'm at home and use the Switch mostly as a portable gaming console. But I still bought this 8-bit wireless USB adapter so I can play on PS5 gamepads if I want to. Switch with this adapter actually works perfectly with other gamepads. I'm not a huge fan of the default Switch controller for longer gaming. As for the sound, we have the LG SP9YA. It's a great 512 soundbar with a subwoofer and Dolby Atmos technology. In 2023, the PS5 started supporting Dolby Atmos and I'm so happy I bought it, although I wish more games added its support. I absolutely love the sound and immersion of this soundbar. It was a huge improvement compared to TV speakers, which honestly isn't bad, but after this soundbar it's impossible to go back to regular speakers. We also use it to listen to music during the day. It's easy to stream to it because it supports AirPlay. We set this soundbar right in the middle of both TVs, just for the sake of symmetry, but it only connected to the LG. The second TV, let's call it secondary, is a Samsung S95B. also 65 inches. This TV is actually a 1-year newer model from 2022 and usually scored just a little bit higher than the C1 in tests, but I personally prefer the LG. This Samsung has new QD OLED panels that have almost twice the peak brightness, but I personally think C1 colors and saturation look more natural and less vivid and overblown as it feels on the Samsung. I tried tons of different guides on how to tweak the S95P colors and eventually settled on a good look, but for the C1 I love how they look by default without tweaking much. I think it also depends a lot on the light in the room, and QD OLED might work better in a controlled light environment, preferably a dark room. This is also a matter of personal preference, and I think most people prefer QD OLED to VOLED that LG uses, but it's the other way around for me, at least in those specific models. Samsung also has definitely better reflection handling, as you might notice it's standing close to a window in our setup, so on a bright day you might not always need to shut the blinders off, but as I mentioned, it might be creating issues for QD OLED panels. Samsung also of course has all the modern tech features like 4K, 120Hz VRR support and game modes. Samsung doesn't have Dolby Vision, which is pretty much useless for gaming, but it's great for movies. That's another reason why C1 is our primary TV. Samsung S95B is still a fantastic panel, and I enjoy it a lot when playing on Xbox Series X, which is always connected to this TV. And of course we also have two gamepads for Xbox. We usually switch between those two setups when one person finishes the game on one console, and it's been working quite well for us. For Xbox sound, we use Sony VH1000XM4 headphones, which are still one of my favorite over-the-head headphones. We usually connect them via Bluetooth straight to the TV, and it's fine for most of the cases unless the sound lag is critical for the game. In games like Hi-Fi Rush, I plugged headphones into the gamepad port because you won't be able to hit the notes. The lag is pretty noticeable. Now to non-tech related items. This corner sofa is IKEA SÖRVALLEN. It's huge and very comfortable. It's perfect for playing on two TVs because the distance between the two seats is exactly right for looking straight at the two 65-inch displays. We also calculated the distance from the couch to the TVs using online tools like Airthings, so we enjoy the best image quality. It's a corner couch, so for the secondary player we also bought this leg rest. Since we don't have a coffee table, in combination with this tray, it's sometimes used for water, coffee or tea. Those two TV stands are IKEA VIHALS. They are quite cheap, but put together they have enough space to put two 65-inch screens on. I'm not a huge fan of how they look, but they do the job for now and also give you additional storage for living room stuff and accessories. We also have this simple lighting strip IKEA LEDBERG attached to LG, so it would have this nice little glow back on the wall. There are much better solutions that can be attached to HDMI directly and actually glow and synced with the image. This one is simple and mostly just for creating a nice ambience in the room. We actually use it in our smart scene for the living room even when we are not playing games. We also have this light from IKEA placed on subwoofer and creates a nice warm glow in the corner. There are quite a lot of cables in this setup, so on the sides we have those IKEA setting boxes to store power strips and cables. Here near the consoles and subwoofer, cables are tied together with those strips. In the middle we still have this enormous power strip from Belkin, and we are still looking for a proper box to hide it. From the couch side it mostly looks okay, but because there are a little gap under and between the TV you can see the strip behind, which is not ideal. We are still improving the cable management, but I'm happy with the progress so far. As a little bonus, we also have a nice framed print with one of my favorite games, Hollow Knight, standing on the side for now. The image is from Etsy and the frame is IKEA Rod Dalm. I love this picture and it perfectly fits our gaming couple cave. That's pretty much all. I hope you find this video useful. All the links for stuff I showed in this video are in the description below. If you're building something similar, let me know in the comments what your approach is. I'd love to hear some stories and tips. Also, feel free to ask any questions about our setup. Keep playing, take care, and I see you soon.